Hi, I'm Meteorologist Tawana Andrew. I am the morning meteorologist on WAVE3 News. So if your parents turn on the TV in the morning, you might see my face giving you the weather. And I absolutely love the weather and meteorology because it changes all the time. Nothing is ever the same except for those long stretches of summer days where every day is just hot and humid and it's in the 90s. Yeah, that's a little bit different, but everything's changing all the time, and that's why I love meteorology. Also, you have some pretty interesting things that can happen sometimes, like tornadoes, hurricanes, snow, hail, and those are things that we're actually still learning about. And one of my favorite things to do is to learn. So meteorology is always super fun for me because I get to learn something new all the time, nearly every single day, since the weather is almost never the same. I'm going to be reading this book to you. The sun is kind of a big deal today, so get ready. We're about to start reading. Let's read. The sun is kind of a big deal. All of the planets and the sun live together in the solar system like a big family. The sun is our solar system's very own star. Seriously, the sun is an actual star. It is the only star in our solar system, and it sits right in the center, holding everything together. So we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Could I have your autograph? It's for my moon Callisto. We also have Saturn, very happy, Uranus with the glasses, and Neptune. So, what's in the solar system beside the sun and the planets? Well, dwarf planets, 5 rocky bodies that are smaller than planets, asteroids, small rocky objects that move around between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt, meteors, streaks of light created when pieces of space rock or metal speed into the Earth's atmosphere. If you ever see a shooting star, it's actually a meteor. Comets, icy rocks that shoot through space and leave a trail of gas and dust. Aliens, okay, maybe not, but we're always looking for them. Oh, hey, guess what? Our solar system is just one of many solar systems that exist. A galaxy is a group made up of billions of solar systems. Our solar system, or a galaxy, is called the Milky Way. There are billions of galaxies out there. Together, they make up the universe. Can you count to 1 billion? Just a heads up, guys, it might take a while. The sun is the biggest thing in the solar system. It's even bigger than Earth. Way bigger. Way, way bigger. Like over 1 million times bigger. This poor little Earth, ow, it burns. This is why I keep my distance. There are much bigger stars in the sun, but all of the other stars you see are really, 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 really far away. Really? Really. The other stars are in totally different solar systems and have their own planets. The Earth is the 3rd planet away from the sun. Remember Earth? It's that little planet where you and everyone you know lives. That's Earth. So we have Mercury, I'm the baby. Venus, I'm the hottest planet. Earth, I have cats. Mars, did someone lose a rover? Jupiter, I'm gassy. Saturn, hula hoop champion. Uranus, I spin sideways. Neptune, it's cold out here. Pluto used to be a planet, but scientists decided it didn't quite fit the definition. Now it's called a dwarf planet. Sorry, Pluto, all the way in the corner. I'm still here, guys. The planets move around the sun like a big running track in space. Each planet has its own special path that it follows. That's called its orbit. Some planets are faster than others, but each one stays in its lane. Look at them go! Poor Neptune. I really feel like I have to go further than you guys. And it's true. And there's the sun blowing the whistle. Happy New Year! It takes a whole year for Earth to go all the way around the sun. Do you know how many times you've been around the sun? Hint, how old are you? That's your answer. So, what does the moon do all year long? While Earth is going around the sun, the moon is spinning around Earth. The moon goes around Earth 12 or 13 times in 1 year. That's about once a month. Depending on where the moon is in its cycle, we might only see part of it. The rest of the moon is in shadow. When we see the whole thing, it's called a full moon. So you have the first quarter, the waxing gibbous, the full moon, the waning gibbous, the third quarter, the waning crescent, new moon, and the waxing crescent, all just dancing around Earth. The sun never stops working. It does loads of important jobs for Earth. In fact, we wouldn't be around without the sun. Are you sure you need all of this from me? Yes. Every second of every day, please and thank you. Why is Earth so important? 2 words. Plants and animals. That's 3 words. Still waiting on that autograph. What's this line for? The sun gives us light so we can see, but it takes about 8 minutes for light to get to us because the sun is so far away. It's worth the wait. The Earth spins around in a full circle every day. That's why we have night and day. Hi again. How was your night? That's why when it's nighttime for you, it's daytime on the other side of the world. Oh, hey, guess what? As one side of the Earth spins away from the sun, it looks like the sun is setting there, and it becomes night. As that side of the Earth spins back towards the sun, it looks like the sun is rising, and you guessed it, breakfast time. The sun is always there, even when you can't see it. Sometimes it looks dark outside during the day because the sun is behind the clouds, but it is still there. Hey, move it, clouds. I was making shadow puppets. Once in a while, it gets dark in the daytime because the moon gets in the sun's way. Look at it. That's called a solar eclipse, and it only lasts for a little while. Look what I can do. Yes, we're very impressed. Now keep moving. Keeping us warm is another really important part of the sun's job. The sun is hotter than you can imagine, way hotter than fire. Its temperature reaches millions of degrees at the center. There it goes, keeping us nice and warm. Some places on Earth are warmer than others. The parts of Earth closest to the equator are the warmest. The parts of Earth closest to the north and south poles are the closest. So North Pole's on top, South Pole's on the bottom. Equator is right there in the middle. Oh, hey, guess what? You see that red line around the middle of the Earth? It's an imaginary line people invented called the equator. It separates the top and bottom halves of Earth. So now we know it's colder near the poles of Earth and warmer near the equator. But why? Well, the parts of Earth near the equator are getting the sun's heat straight on. The north and south poles are getting the same amount of sunlight, but it gets spread out over a bigger area. Since these places have to share the sun's heat, they don't get quite as warm. So you have that less direct sun at the North Pole and at the South Pole. See, equator, you get more direct sunlight. While Earth is moving around the sun, it is spinning on a tilt. That's why we have seasons. There are 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Because of Earth's tilt, the top half and the bottom half of the world experience seasons at different times. So, top half tilted away. What do you mean? It's winter. Happy summer, everyone. At the bottom half is tilted towards. When the bottom half of Earth is tilted towards the sun, it is summer there. This also means the top half of Earth is tilted away from the sun, which makes it winter there. The sun's work isn't done yet. Every day, the sun also has an important job in the water cycle: condensation, precipitation, evaporation. Well, what happens during the water cycle? During evaporation, heat from the sun causes water to mix with air, turning into vapor. That's called evaporation. I'm floating. Condensation, then the vapor gathers together to make clouds. That's called condensation. Finally, the water comes back down as rain or snow. That's called precipitation. Uh-oh, I'm leaking. We're back. Woohoo! The water cycle is important for all living things, but especially for plants. Plants need water and sunlight for photosynthesis. That's a big word, but it's also a really big job. What can I do for you today? A little photosynthesis, please. I totally love soil. Soil is awesome. I love it. What do I owe you? Oxygen. Photosynthesis is when a plant uses light from the sun, water from the water cycle, and carbon dioxide from the air to make food for energy to help it grow. During photosynthesis, plants make oxygen. That's what animals and people need to breathe. Take a deep breath. You just breathed in a lot of oxygen. Oxygen doesn't have any taste, but it's always there. We can't live without it. If the sun wasn't helping out with photosynthesis, then we wouldn't have oxygen. You're welcome. The sun is pretty great. It's always around, keeping the whole solar system together. It gives us light and keeps us warm. It helps bring us rain and grow plants to produce the oxygen we breathe. It's such a big part of our lives that we wouldn't be able to live without it. The sun works really hard to help us out. That's kind of a big deal. That's Earth, and that's our friend, the sun. Let's go through the glossary. Asteroid, a small rocky object that travels around the sun. Comet, an icy rock that shoots through space and leaves a trail of gas and dust. Condensation, the changing of gas or vapor into its liquid form. Cycle, a series of events that are repeated in the same order. Dwarf planet, a rocky body in space that is smaller than a planet but bigger than most asteroids. Equator, an imaginary line around the middle of Earth that is an equal distance from the north and south poles. Evaporation, the process of changing a liquid into a vapor or gas. Galaxy, a very large group of stars and planets. Meteor, a streak of light created when a piece of space rock or metal speeds into Earth's atmosphere. Moon, the natural satellite that moves around Earth about once each month and is visible because it reflects light from the sun. North Pole, the most northern part of Earth located at the top of Earth's axis. Orbit, the curved path followed by a moon, planet, or satellite as it circles a planet or the sun. Photosynthesis, a chemical process by which green plants and some other organisms use energy from the sun to turn water and carbon dioxide into food. They produce oxygen as a byproduct. Planet, a large round body in space that orbits a star. Precipitation, the falling of water from the sky in the form of rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Season, one of the 4 natural parts of the year. Solar eclipse, the time when the moon comes in between the sun and Earth so that all or part of the sun's light is blocked. Solar system, the sun together with its orbiting bodies, the planets circled by their moons, as well as dwarf planets, asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. South Pole, the most southern part of Earth located at the bottom of Earth's axis. Star, a mass of burning gas seen in the sky at night as a glowing point of light. Sun, any star that is in the center of a system of planets. Did you know people used to think the sun went around the Earth? In fact, a long time ago, people thought that the whole universe, including the sun, moon, and stars, all moved around Earth. This idea is called the geocentric model of the universe, and it's, well, wrong. An ancient astronomer named Ptolemy is known for spreading this idea around. It took astronomers many years of watching the way stars and planets move before realizing that the sun is actually in the center of the solar system. An astronomer near Copernicus is famous for making this discovery popular. It's called the heliocentric model of the universe, and it's what scientists still follow today. Did you know people used to use the sun to tell time? Yep, that's right. For a long time, ancient people used all kinds of devices like candles and hourglasses to estimate time. Then the Egyptians started using an object we call the sundial about 1300 BC. That's almost 3,500 years ago. Here's how it worked. Because the sun's position changes throughout the day, the pointer would cast a shadow on an area of the face or dial, depending on where the sun was in the sky. This shadow told you what time it was. The sundial was pretty cool because it allowed people to break the day into different sections, kind of like we do with hours. But sundials weren't nearly as good as clocks. For instance, a sundial was useless at night because, well, there was no sunlight. Nowadays, we use clocks and phones to tell the time, but people can still estimate the time of day by looking at where the sun is in the sky. For example, if the sun looks like it's almost right above you, it's around midday. It's especially helpful if you are spending time in nature without a watch. Did you know some civilizations used to worship the sun? Some ancient civilizations believed the sun was a really big deal before they even fully understood it. Some Egyptians, Indo-European, and Mesoamerican people thought the sun was their ruler, giving them light, wisdom, and justice. People didn't know the scientific explanations for why certain things happened, but they knew the sun was a big part of it. They came up with all kinds of interesting stories about how things worked back then. For example, the ancient Greeks believed that the god Helios will pull the sun across the sky in a chariot every morning. Did you know people use the sun to prove that the earth is round? A very long time ago, before we had cars and airplanes and skateboards, it was really hard for people to travel long distances. Since everyone was stuck pretty close to home, they didn't have a lot of information about Earth. Maybe it's because Earth kind of looks flat from the ground, or because when you look far off into the horizon, the land seems to drop off. But people all over the world believed the Earth was flat. It wasn't until about 2,500 years ago that a mathematician named Pythagoras argued that Earth and the moon were actually round. Not too much later, Aristotle, a philosopher, gave everyone real evidence to back up Pythagoras' claim. Aristotle noticed that a ship's hull disappeared first when it sailed over the horizon, and that Earth cast a round shadow, not a flattened one, on the moon during a lunar eclipse. Over the years, the evidence kept piling up, and we were able to determine that Earth, along with all the other planets and stars, is in fact round. Planets, they're just like us. We got the inside scoop from the sun, the up-and-coming star of the Milky Way. First of all, congratulations, you've been on fire lately. Not on fire exactly, but I do run pretty hot. I'm about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, 15 million degrees Celsius at my core. Your rise to fame has been a long time coming. How long have you been in the business? More than 4.5 billion years. That's a long time. It's a normal day. Where do you find yourself? At the center of the solar system, surrounded by my 8 planets and 5 dwarf planets. Tell us something your fans might not know about you. I'm technically a yellow dwarf star, but that doesn't mean I'm small. I'm about 2.7 million miles around, or almost 4.4 million kilometers. Thanks for chatting with us. It's nice to meet a star that's so down to earth. Anything for the flames. Could Earth be in the market for a new moon? Could Earth be adding a second moon to its orbit? Earth only has one moon, but a friend says Earth and Mars are so competitive, Earth would love to get a second or third moon to top Mars's 2. But sources at NASA say that the change is a lot of hot air. Earth will have to stick with just the one. Venus kicks back after the longest day in the solar system, clocking in around 5,832 hours. It's been a long day. Cast reunion. The cast of the Milky Way got together to snap this sweet selfie. The solar system that spins together stays together. Spotted. Mercury, the smallest of the solar system's 8 planets, was seen spinning around the galaxy with Jupiter, the largest planet, who's around 35 times bigger. What a mismatched pair. Maybe the 3 planets between them, the difference doesn't seem so big. Who wore it better? Ring edition. Saturn, 72%. Uranus, 25%. Neptune, 3%. Oh, poor Neptune. Happy New Year! Neptune finally finished one orbit around the sun after spinning for 60,182 Earth days. Wow, that's a wrap. Mars sees red. What has the 4th planet so angry? Sources say Mars' feud with his neighbor Earth could be heating up. Mars wants to be left alone, but Earth's rovers keep dropping by uninvited. Rude. And these are our planets. Hope you enjoyed reading with me. The sun is kind of a big deal.